I feel we resolved our issues here. This is not a repeat of Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2 will return. Maybe during a podcast.
Just go in on it.
I'm tired. I'm tired of the Spider-Man debate. There's no debate. The best Spider-Man movies are Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 2.
You were gonna say Interstellar.
My favorite Spider-Man movie is Interstellar.
Interstellar. Oh,
right.
fuck. Welcome back. The best Spider-Man movie is Interstellar.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I like when Spider-Man goes through the black hole and never is seen again by the main character. He just kind of dies.
Oh my god.
Oh. No, not you. Not you. I was expecting like a little demon.
We got big
Alright.
boy.
You want to play like that? No, fuck off.
This dude is insane. Oh. This man's got jukes.
Yep. Oh.
Oh, dog.
Hey, anyone want to give me ammo? Thank you.
Here you are, sir.
Where's the shotgun ammo? There it is. Fuck it
Take
up.
this, sir.
He's just standing there. Menacingly.
So what me and Harry were talking about yesterday, we were texting each other, was I submitted an audition for the game Summerland, which, I mean, if it's good, we'll probably play it. Even if I don't get the part, just because I like the concept.
I don't even know the concept. I just saw the ad for voice acting. And I sent it to Luis.
So I submitted my audition, which, all fairness, I don't think was my best work, but
You said he did it in one take, which kind of angers me. Like, why? Why in one take?
Because I literally had no time to do it. Because we were starting
was
an
it the
episode.
deadline?
We were starting an episode.
You
Like,
could have waited until after to do it.
but when we're done, it's like 10 or 11. It's like 11 usually when we're done, and like,
Yeah, and we're tired.
not only that, but like my family
couldn't
is
do it
like
the
telling me
day
like,
after?
shut the fuck up.
You couldn't
No,
do it
but
the day
it
after?
was the day of the deadline.
Oh, okay. So that's why.
I was just procrastinating about it, and I was like, I'll get to it. And then the day came, and I was like, fuck.
For first take, it was good. But like the thing is, not even professional voice actors do stuff in first takes.
Very few can.
Like they have to
you
be
have
like,
to have like you have to have like some Don LaFontaine fucking chops to be able to do anything in one take.
like you have to be the character. Like the character is you. Like the guy who voices Mickey Mouse, the guy who voices Mario, guy who voices fucking Kevin Conroy, Batman
Best
the GOAT.
Batman.
Like maybe not maybe they can't even like fucking do it in one take. They can maybe do it sometimes, but doing it in one take is a very hard thing to do.
From what Doug has told me, the only actor that he ever knew that could do anything in one take was Don LaFontaine.
I have my sword too, bitch. Doesn't work.
Great.
Anyone want to give me some ammo? I don't really got
But
the chops to fight this dude.
I'm very much of the thinking of like, if you don't get the part, don't pry.
There you go.
Which is
Yeah.
so like, you know, I made it a point to like not listen to any of the auditions, but I listened to one, which I thought was really good. But Harry listened to a lot more than I did, so he was telling me about a few of them.
Like like these people can't read. Like some of them are recording on like iPhone mics, and it's like if you don't have the mic set up, like how are you gonna?
In all
like,
fairness, though,
he doesn't have a studio. He's a one-man army.
In all fairness, though, a lot of auditions, and you can get away with this if you're a professional voice actor, since you're either gonna be you either have a home studio or more likely you're gonna be recording in booth, but they'll do an audition on like a phone or whatever, but if the person is familiar with that work, if the casting director is familiar with their work, they can just look at their other work for like more confirmation besides their audition. But if you're trying to make a good first impression to a guy who's like a college kid who's just trying to like
Who
make
doesn't
his
have a
game
studio for
and
you to
needs
go
voice
to?
actors, like I think it would be in your best interest to show him that like, hey, I have a really good setup, so you don't have to worry about it.
You're professional about it. Like, it shows that you are like willing to like spend money to get better quality,
Yeah.
which is very needed, especially in like video games where like the raw file is like put under like a heavy amount of effects to like get the right like sound,
Yeah.
because you know you gotta have the voice sound in like when they get close to like maybe like when they go into a specific area, right? Like a more reverb in like a place. It's just stupid stuff like that. But also like he wants the best quality because like let's say like Funimation, right? When it's not COVID, they'll bring you in and they have their own studio because they want the voices to be more to have what is it? Fuck, the thing's not coming to my head.
The thing
when you use the
is
same mic
that
in
all
the
these
same
studios
studio
is that even if you have the same mic, if you don't have the same like setup, like if you have the same mic, if you have the same console, everything, if the room isn't the exact same, it'll sound totally different, which is up to the sound engineer to fix.
And even then, like they can't even fix it.
So like that's why
it needs to be consistent. That's the word. I don't know why that was not coming to my head.
What word?
Consistency.
Yeah.
In the voices.
You know, obviously,
like you don't want a guy with a like a.
I don't know if he's gonna do the sound engineering, but let's say I get cast, and the person the other person who he cast has a different mic than me, which is more than likely gonna happen. Like, if he's doing the sound engineering, he has to figure out how to make us sound like we're talking in the same place.
And not like everyone can afford like foam padding, so like everyone has different like echo.
I record in a closet filled with fucking clothing.
Anyone in here that want to give me a little help here?
Anyone want me? No. Why don't they want me, man?
Oh, there you are. I feel bad for them. They're just like used.
All their purposes in life is just to give you fucking ammo.
And that's all they're here for. Fuck you, dog.
What were some of the auditions like? I want to know. Like, I'm not gonna bother to find out.
What I was gonna get to.
I just don't want to like do that to myself. But the bad ones, anyways.
Some of them didn't read that. Okay, the audition asked for one of the characters to have like a voice similar to Joel without the southern accent, the southern drawl, right? There were so many people using a southern accent. Like he would like that's just a bad first impression if you're not doing the right accent. You know, you didn't read.
To be fair, it did say maybe lose the southern accent.
Did it say maybe?
Yes,
I thought it said like minus the southern drawl.
The specific instruction was not to lose the southern accent, but maybe you should.
Mm-hmm.
So I did mine without it.
But like,
I feel some of the words still, because I was basing it off of Joel. I feel some of the words did come off with like a bit of a drawl. Especially during the first part where I was reading it. But the people who were just like I would find it really funny if it's just like a kid, if it's like a 13-year-old kid and he's like, I saw the other day they were breaking into the apartment, like just like trying his hardest.
I feel like most people on that site are like people that have been thinking about voice acting, not just like, it's not like someone like the guy went on YouTube asking for auditions and then a bunch of kids send it by email. He's like, oh, that'd be cool.
But I didn't know what any of the other auditions sounded like besides that one guy that I purposely checked out. The guy that I checked out was the one who was getting like the most buzz from everybody.
This guy's stupid as hell. Oh, fuck.
Oh, well, fuck. Spoke a little too soon.
Give me ammo.
Was there anyone that had a bad audition?
I didn't see any. I kind of like... you can't really filter it by like likes. But like, I kind of got to like where most people are like commenting and stuff. There were rejected ones, and I saw they were really bad. Like,
really?
They didn't even sound like they were 40 years old, or like even the man.
Like,
So yeah, they're in the rejected pile.
I like watch mine be in the rejected pile.
I was thinking that like, like this so fucked. The man just like going to check all the like the auditions, and then like you're in the rejected pile. Like, there shouldn't be a rejected like fucking pile.
I am in the rejected pile.
There should just be accepted, man. Because it's kind of just this like disheartening to like get that.
Hold up, only accepted.
Where'd the guy go?
Oh, so he hasn't casted anybody yet.
Hello?
I am in the rejected pile though.
You're in a rejected pile?
Yeah.
Damn. I guess he wasn't. You won't. It's not like yours was bad. I guess he just because like he's not a like voice casting director, so he's not good at articulating what he wants. So in his head, he probably had an idea, and he was like, the closest thing is Joel. But like, it's just I think he had something very very specific that he's trying to look for. Because he's not a like he doesn't know anything about casting people.
Oh god, that one is really bad.
And like describing people.
Dude, oh my god, guys, you sound nothing like a 40-year-old. I mean, not like I did either, but...
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you! Fuck you too! You! Bring him to me! Oh. Let's fucking go. Oh. I like that. I like that kind of battle. And it's like what you said in like Skyward Sword, like those kind of like one-on-ones, just like trying to time it right to beat the guys.
I just listened to some of the rejected auditions, and now I'm kind of offended.
That you're rejected?
Yes.
I mean, just because you're rejected doesn't mean it's like these are the top 10 worst voices in video game history. Number one.
No, but I'm saying that like, ugh. Some of them are really bad.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you can't really put it in like, you can't really like put it in a tier list. Like, it's just, it's either rejected or accepted. That's it. Like, he probably like listened to yours like a couple of times and was like, not really what I'm looking for, but that's pretty good. Instead of like the other guys are like, all right. Like the first second, they're like, okay, I'm done with this guy. There were some people like starting the audition with like, hi, my name is Thing, and they were like giving a life story.
Well, it's common practice to slate whenever you're doing an audition.
I mean, yeah, but like,
which I didn't do it for this. I just went straight into it.
I mean, they know it's an audition. You know.
But it's like a thing of if you're really professional, you're gonna slate. I didn't bother to slate because I was like, I knew with like the time restraint that I was like, I'm probably not gonna get this role.
And also because, you know, you did it in one take.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna bother to slate. But it is common practice to slate whenever you're doing anything. I believe this is the last episode we're doing today.
Oh. Another thing that we brought up when we were talking about the auditions in the role is that I also listened to Luis's audition, and I kind of gave my opinion, and like Luis didn't like, he didn't disregard my opinion. He accepted it, but he did bring up like how like people would like, some people would be like, you aren't a voice actor, you don't study voice acting, you don't know what you're talking about. And
yeah, for sure, because like there are the people certainly in any industry where and I equated it to music, but you gave me an even better one, which is food, where like,
yeah,
you don't have to be a chef to know when food tastes like shit.
yeah, and like I can understand where the person's coming from, because they get so engrossed in like, they spend so much time like researching, like let's say with film, like learning so much about it that they're like, okay, I know how to do it. Then they make something that's shit. Like, and then like when someone like talks about, they're like, how is this possible? This person didn't go through what I had to do to learn all this stuff. Why are they talking about it? Like, I forgot who, but
you know,
Uwe
like,
Boll, who made like the.
Like, not to seem sort of like I'm disregarding that I was rejected. But there's one, and I love this line that Doug said, which is, you're gonna get a lot more no's than you ever will get yeses in your lifetime as a voice actor. And I was like, yeah.
And that's true. That's like, even for professionals.
And it's not even, and like you said, it's not even a thing sometimes that the casting director, or in this case, the dude working on the game, thought that your audition was bad. It's just that you're not what they wanted.
It's like in their head they have something and you're just not that. Like, you can't really change that. Like, voice acting is like a hard thing to do, because you want to be able to have a different variety of roles, but the kind of people that like get roles sometimes, or like that are well known, are the people that can do a specific voice. Like that, like the guy who plays Kronk in like Joe from Family Guy. I don't know, is that the same voice actor?
I believe it's Patrick Warburton.
Yeah, like people specific, like he probably can do a bunch of voices, but voice casters or whatever, they're looking for him. If they like, some people even write roles for like specific voices in minds of like characters.
Yeah.
Like with music in like movies, there's like the temp music that they get soundtracks from other movies, and just like before actual editing and before like getting the actual soundtrack, they're like, all right, this is the kind of song I want in this part.
Yeah.
And like, it's kind of like that. Like, some, like, you want to be versatile as an actor, but you also want to find the voice that suits you the most, that you can do really, really well.
I know,
and that like is needed.
I know in my case of like, certainly I have, and I'm not bragging, I know I have a wide enough vocal range to basically do any voice, but
to do like, but the 40-year-old like, that's also like super like grouchy or whatever, like maybe if you like sunk some more time into like speaking lines with that voice,
I'm sure it would have benefited greatly from that. But I also know that like, my voice is a high baritone or like a middle baritone. I know that I'm like, I know where my voice is comfortable doing. Like,
yeah,
I'm far more comfortable playing like, let's say a character who's like in his early 20s to like early 30s, right? Than a character who's like 50. Like, yeah. I just don't have that voice.
And also not only 50, but like really like grimy, really what is the raspy?
Gruff. This is a thing with my voice. I can do gruff really well. That's why I can do the snake voice like super well. I can't do like that scratchiness that you get from like just aging. I can't do it because I'm not old enough. I don't have that yet.
Yeah. Like maybe later on down the line you'll like become better at it. Because it's not only like you can have a really good voice, but to able to like use that voice in different situations, like a panic state or something, it's also hard to get that sounding consistent with each other, you know?
Because
like a scream.
The problem for me is that like when I do, like you said, and I listened back to my audition and I realized what went wrong when I was doing the panic scene, and then you said that it sounded like I was
It sounded more closer to your actual voice than like the grouchy, like the raspy old man voice. Like it sounded higher.
What I realized that's exactly what happened. What I realized is that I stopped trying to speak in like a low baritone, and I went back to just like my normal voice.
Yeah.
I feel emotionally I conveyed it decently, but I feel like vocally I could have worked on getting it lower and getting it more closer to what the character was supposed to be. Also, in fairness though, like, and you know, it's sort of like with sports, you know, overcome coaching, but you know, sometimes casting directors will just give you the most vague casting or voice directors will give you the most vague instructions, and you just sort of have to figure out what they mean.
Yeah, because like I said before, they're looking for something specific, but like casting directors, like actual casting directors that can probably articulate exactly what they want pretty easily, because they're so used to like getting what they want out of a person's voice.
Absolutely.
But like this
and
guy,
also casting directors, specifically in something like anime, you have an original person to compare to.
Yeah. Like, although like you can do something different with that voice, but like it's just,
you know, like we mentioned before, like Steve Bloom as Spike sounds nothing like Koichi Yamadera as Spike, but he evokes the character in the exact same way.
And it's still loved. It's a still loved voice, you know?
Absolutely. Just because Steve Bloom is a fucking great voice actor.
But like I kind of wanted to get into like you should be able to critique something that's not in your field, because like stuff like with movies,
what I mentioned to you, I'm not to interrupt you, but what I mentioned to you was, for me, it's easy to identify what makes something good or bad. To me, where I myself would get angry is if something is pretty good or mediocre and somebody is trying to nitpick it. It's like, and that's the case where I would be like, dude, you don't know enough about this to be able to form like a true opinion of it.
It's like more like, it's not that, it's more so there's a difference between hating and
not to like, form an opinion, but to like make a critique of it that like sounds like
you can give your impression of it, or like mine's like not like a critique, it's more of an impression of like what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
And like just offering a different perspective of someone that's like, you know, heard voices in video games and stuff like that. It's like let me see, it's like
name a dub that you think is not bad but like mediocre, and I can tell you, if I know it, I can tell you whether I think it's good or bad in actuality.
Mediocre. The My Hero dub.
I've heard some of the My Hero dub, and like,
it's just
I
think
good
for the most part, but there's just very odd choices.
I think for the most part, it's sort of an issue of casting that they did with some of the voices.
They kind of went like, Chris Sabat as All Might is a great choice, but I think they kind of went safe with the other people.
Who did they pick as Deku? Was it Justin Briner?
Yeah, like with him,
that voice fits.
I think they kind of went and chose the voices before truly knowing what they went into. Cause like, there's obviously, you know, the voice of like the Japanese cast.
True. Like, I mean, this is very true. Like, and I've heard it, because like some casting directors will just cast the people they want, not really caring
people they know
about
that can give them
source
the job.
material.
Yeah, and also the difference is like, I saw, this is probably not the case with every anime, but like when it, like Attack on Titan voice acting, the actual author came in, saw the scenes, like gave more like, he gave an insight on how the actor should like say the line, like what kind of like, because when you're looking at a manga, which is what they kind of have to do, the Japanese voice actors, because they don't have, you know, they don't have the other voices. It's they kind of they gotta look at the panel and kind of invoke the emotion, and sometimes they can't like get it as like what the manga is thinking. So they got
that's why it's useful to have the original creator giving their input on it.
Yeah, and he gave his input, and the scene was, they did a much better job. It was like a different like tone, different like thing, and like they English dubs don't really have that. All they have usually is like
And this is that I will
all they have
say,
is just the original voices. That's
that
it.
I will say is also a bit of a part of the casting director and the ADR director, because they need to know the show inside and out, and they need to know everything about it, right? Where my favorite example that I love to bring up just because I thought it was really funny is that we have to wrap up this episode soon, but I'm blanking on her name.
Let me just finish this.
Amanda Miller, who is to Naruto fan, she's the voice of Boruto, and to me, she's the voice of Sailor Jupiter.
Can I finish this fight?
Hmm?
Can I finish this fight?
Bro, it's 10:52.
Oh.
I gotta come tomorrow, bro.
Okay, let's just wrap up the
my favorite thing is that at a panel that she was like mentioning she was like, somebody was like, I don't like your voice as Sailor Jupiter, and she was like, yeah, but the original mangaka selected me as the voice, so fuck you. Which I thought was really cool that like they got Naoko Takeuchi to like give her input on who the English voices for the redub should have been.
Yeah. Like, don't be mad at voice actors for decisions they didn't make. Sure, they auditioned, but they were chosen by
like we haven't even brought this up. Like all the people assaulting Laura Bailey for fucking voicing Abby.
Like she didn't write the fucking character.
Assault Neil Druckmann. Fuck Neil Druckmann.
Yeah, like him. And I mean, okay, this is what I was coming to. It's a difference between actual giving constructive criticism and just hating, just straight hating. Like, you can like, there's people just calling Neil Druckmann a dirty like Jew. Like, what is like, what's the point? What is the purpose of that?
I mean, like, we haven't gotten super far in it and to like see enough of her scenes, but I hate Abby as well.
But
so Laura Bailey did a real good fucking job.
Like, you're supposed to hate her at that point. And most of the people complaining, yelling at the writer, and yelling at the Laura Bailey are people that didn't even buy or play the game, or didn't even like watch a playthrough of the game all the way through. They just saw the leaks and they just saw specific scenes, and that's it. Oh,
if she kills Joel, like, yeah, dude. That's
like,
all you know about her?
Like,
fuck off.
Like, there's definitely you gotta know what you're talking about, but like you don't need to be like in that field to know what you're talking about. Like,
I think that's the biggest thing for me.
I'm not in the movie scene. Like, I'm not like I had hopes of wanting like becoming a director, but like I can still give a fair critique of a movie even though I'm not like I remember when it was like middle school, I was like having an argument with Momoy. He said the Transformers movies are good. I said the first one's fine. The rest kind of suck. The story just sucked. The writing sucked. And he just said, you then try to make a movie. I'm like, what does that have to do with me not knowing if a movie's good or not? Like I said, I think to say whether something is good or bad doesn't take expert opinion. You can decide on that pretty easily. Like, I was watching, I think that's one of the reasons, I might have mentioned it, the show is called Narutaru, which is, it was a horror anime, but like for whatever reason the subs were fucked up for like the last 3 episodes, so I had to watch the dub, and the dub was terrible, and like, I remember Sasha telling me like, I don't really know what's the difference between a good dub or a bad dub, and I said, and I told her this, I said, you can tell the difference between a good dub or a bad dub. The harder thing is to like tell the difference between a pretty good dub and a mediocre dub. Because that's the point where you get to like fine line where you need to know about, where you need to know something about it to like critique it. It's not something like medium, like watchable medium is nothing like video games where if you play enough of them, you can build a good enough opinion. It's watchable media, like you do to a certain level have to know enough about
the creation of it to be able to give a definitive opinion of like of the finer details of it. Like, I can tell you right now and just tell you the Naruto dub is bad, but it's obvious to anybody who watches it that it's bad. Whereas something like Attack on Titan, just for example, because I didn't think the dub was that bad. You said you didn't like it, and I just from my memory of it, I was like,
I'm not gonna say it's horrible, but the thing with anime dubs specifically, or like even game dubs, sometimes they have like if it when it's from a different language, it's really easy to compare it. And that's where a lot of people come with like, oh, this dub's trash, and they just say that out of nowhere. Like, people say the My Hero dub's trash. I'm not gonna say it's trash. I just feel like they're like Justin Briner's good as Deku in regular scenes, but he really, like, in my opinion, he kind of falls flat in scenes where like he has to like scream and show emotion. It really sounds like Morty from Rick and Morty to me. And like, just compare it to like the pure emotion in the voices of like the Japanese voice actor, who also like, he's also like in JoJo Part 5. He's in a bunch of other anime, and like, it's a really hard to like it's really easy to compare it to the other voices.
There is also like most the part of like a thing that I saw on Twitter that was like, it was one of those hard to swallow pill jokes, where it was like, you guys just think the Japanese voice actor is good because you're just reading it through subtitles and you don't actually know the intricacies of the language, which is like,
I don't believe that. Like, I can still hear the emotion through the like maybe the way they say it is different.
I would tell you, I would agree with you, but
like, we don't know, unless we like actually know Japanese. I'm just saying this from my experience with Spanish. I know that if you because you don't speak it, I know if you watch a Spanish show, you can be able to tell whether, like I said, I know you can tell whether the acting is good or bad. But if you, thing is, I don't really like dubs
probably because you don't speak the language, you probably can't tell what's mediocre, and I can. I think it is valid. Like, I don't agree that people romanticize it to the point of where like, oh, you guys just think it's so much better because of that. Like, no, that's not true. Like, you can tell when voice acting is bad or good. But I do agree to the sense of like what we're talking about just right now. I think the finer details of it is something that you probably I feel with voice it's different, but like, I feel the finer detail of it is like easier to understand. Just like you and I anybody could tell good or bad acting, but like, it's harder to like pinpoint what makes mediocre acting. And like, I feel a part of that is that like, even if a character, like, just to use anime for example, if a character is well written but the voice actor might not sound good, to an English speaker they might sound good because they can't really fully understand what they're saying, so they sound a lot better. But in reality, if you spoke Japanese and if you're familiar with the culture, you'd probably think that they didn't do that well of a job.
I think it comes with experience, however. When you watch more anime, when you watch it in the Japanese voice acting, you can okay. You're talking about the like how mediocre it is, and I agree with that, but you can really tell when a voice acting is really good in the Japanese like sub, even without knowing any Japanese.
Of course, no, but that's not what I'm saying.
I know, like with the mediocre stuff, like, it's a lot easier to say English dub is mediocre because you speak the language, you hear people, you have that experience of listening to that language.
But I don't think it's fair to say English dub is mediocre when
or at least comparing it to the Japanese dub.
Yeah,
not the
but
Japanese.
I'm saying, like, I don't feel that's a fair comparison to make either, because if you're just objectively a person like us who you speak English and you don't speak any Japanese and you watch a lot of stuff, you watch a lot of anime, you might think that compared to the Japanese dub it's mediocre. But like, I'm saying that I do sort of agree with the perspective of like, maybe the original Japanese was mediocre and like a person just
easier to
doesn't know
bear.
enough. A person just doesn't know enough about voice acting to like really like put input besides saying that the English dub is mediocre. Because maybe the English dub is actually good. It's just that the original show itself wasn't that good.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's one thing that I kind of want to get into in terms of like anime dub and stuff, but we don't have the time for that. I kind of want to bring it up. It's just it's the why do I why do I like why are video, in my opinion, video game dubs are better than English dub, and I think it's because of time, right? Or like, how much time usually does an anime dub get?
Depends on
schedule.
So
like if they're doing simul dub.
Funimation does the simul dub program, which is like, I think they release it the week after it debuts in Japan, so they have to work constantly. And so when I hear people saying that like, oh, the Funimation dubs aren't that good, it's like, well, dude,
it's because they
have so many writers, they have so many directors, and they have so many voice actors having to constantly come into the studio. So like, there is obviously going to be like some overlap of like, that wasn't that great. Whereas like, you know, dubs by companies who just do them, instead of like releasing when the show came out, they might release it on the DVD with the Japanese original, or
much later,
or like
after having a bunch of time,
or like JoJo, which is they dub it after the show has finished airing in Japan.
Yeah, like way after. Like they're barely on part 5 right now, and part 5 ended like a year ago.
And
not barely on part 5, they're like towards the end of part 5.
The thing that, and just to wrap this up, the thing I will say about dubbing, and which I think a lot of people forget, is that dubbing is really fucking hard. Like, anybody who like criticizes dubbing, like, I don't want to be that guy, but sometimes I do have the thought of like, have you ever tried it? Have you ever tried to match a fucking lip flap? That shit is not easy. And especially when like Japanese and English don't translate. Like,
yeah,
they're not the same type of language.
It's not like maybe like Spanish to American, like English.
Oh my god,
where it's kind of like
Spanish dubs are so bad. So bad.
It's like they both come from Latin, but like obviously like there's still a difference. Like, you know, Spanish has the gender words, which English does not. English just doesn't have that ability, which is why like sometimes like jokes just straight up just don't work. Like in Your Name, the dub like just wasn't able to do that one joke like very early on where like the guy who's in the girl's body just like wasn't using the girl like words.
Yeah, he would say like
ore or something.
He would say ore or boku, which are masculine
male turns.
Yeah. Instead of ona or whatever the fuck.
And it's also like people have tried, like look at YouTube, people have tried to do matching lip flaps and it just looks bad.
Cuz it's hard. Like, this is a thing that like I urge people to like think about whenever they like want to like criticize a dub, is like, remember the fact that like, especially with Funimation, these people have to do, in my opinion, the most complex voice acting in the world, and also at the same time like have to do it well, have to do it good, have to do it on time so it can get out on time.
They kind of do that to themselves though, for even like doing the simul dub, because they kind of like
it's not the voice actor's fault. It's not the casting director's fault. Not the ADR director's fault.
It's just Funimation is just they're not scheduling their projects right. Like people don't need the dub the week after. Like there's people that happily didn't watch Super until the dub came out, which was like 2 years after.
I mean,
people will wait for a dub.
Lupin Part 5 was 20. Lupin Part 5 was 2018, and the dub came out in like summer of 2019. So, I mean,
it's a while, but like,
I mean, it was like the Lupin Part 5 was like, I believe, spring 2018, and the dub came out during summer 2019. So like, yeah, it's about a year, but the dub is really good. So I'd rather there is that part of me where it's like, would I rather wait for a really good dub or settle for a decent dub that's coming out way quicker?
most of the time people should just wait, because it allows the actors to find the right voice, or find, like, do the line the way they want to, because they're on a time constraint. With dubbing, they're working around the anime. Where in anime, it's like in the Japanese studios, they're working around, the voice lines. Usually, and
they record it in the way that traditional. Japanese record the same way that we do traditional cartoons. Like, all the voice actors will be there. Like, in dubbing, it's just you in the studio.
And that's just the studio, though. Like, the studio can do that. Like, they do that with, like, regular cartoons. Like, they have, like, what was it, SpongeBob? No. It was Chowder. They do it, like, in the same place together.
Yeah, but with dubbing, you literally can't have all the voice actors in the same room, because that would just be hell. You can't match lip flaps if you're getting distracted.
Yeah, the lip flaps are just the hardest part, which is why, like, early dubs, people made fun of, like early karate movies for that. And, like,
oh my God.
That's why I don't think you should dub live action stuff. Honestly,
it's so bad, dude.
Just don't do that.
All the Spanish movies. Okay, so we're done here, but I just want to say this: all the Spanish movies I've ever watched, they use, like, the same, like, 5 voice actors. They have, like, 2 adult males. They have, like, one boy kid, one girl, and an adult woman, and that's it. And they use them in every single thing. They all sound the same. They never match any lip flap, and they all sound awful.
Isn't in the other way around, when it's like a Spanish dub for like a English movie? Isn't it like they have, like, people that are, like, kind of like the counterpart to, like, actual actors?
No. That I'm referring to that. That's what
you're
happens
referring
in
to
Japan.
Spanish dubbing actual movies?
Yes.
I just think that's funny, like, how, like, there's, like,
in Japan, like, I'm blanking on his name. Fuck. Lupin's first voice actor, Yasuo Yamada. He was like the English voice actor for, like, Dirty Harry, or for like Clint Eastwood in, like, dubs and stuff. I just find that, like, really funny.
I just like when they're, like, connected to the actor, not even the role.
Oh, Daisuke Namikawa, who is the voice actor for Goemon in Lupin. He's, like, the English voice actor for, like, Chris Evans, the Japanese voice actor for Chris Evans. I find that stuff funny. But all Spanish dubs of English movies, they use, like, the same 5 voice actors. They all sound the same. Like,
they don't have the money. Come on.
This guy will
and
be
also
13
the cartel's up their ass.
This guy will be 13 years old, and he sounds the exact same as the guy who's 50 years old. It sucks. It's so bad. And as a Spanish speaker, I hate it.
You know what? You know what's crazy that I've seen?
Armenian dubs.
Armenian dubs of Spanish shows, Spanish dramas. And, like, so you can no. The thing is, they don't even try to, like, like, you can hear the Spanish voices, like they just put the volume down so they can kind of get the sound effects, but you can kind of hear them. Like, it'll be delayed too. So it'll be like the Spanish guys, like,
do they not have enough money to have their own Foley artists to do the sound effects?
They don't care, and they do not care.
Imagine watching La Rosa de la Guadalupe in fucking Armenian.
Bro, like, some Armenian shows just steal soundtracks from movies. Like, I swear, like, when my parents are watching, like, an Armenian TV show, they use the Dark Knight soundtrack, like, 50 times.
I was about to say, you're watching the Armenian dub of The Dark Knight, and they have the Ava soundtrack.
Man, fuck live action dubs.